Hey, hey, hey! So we are back for another book review. So, I don't know, like, I haven't been getting many views on my book reviews, but I'm going to continue to do them because it helps me remember what books I have read and what I thought about them. So, somebody will come along, somebody will like it. So, today we're going to be talking about the book You Don't Want to Know by Lisa Jackson. Let me make sure I cover up the library sticker here. So, as we know, I really like Lisa Jackson. I like books by her. This book I chose because it's on her list of standalone books. Not that I don't like her series books, it's just that the library that we use doesn't have all of them, so I don't want to either get started with a series and then have to order books to finish it, or have to, not be able to read like the first couple of books in a series and then get stuck with whatever. So obviously, like when it comes to, I want to read the series in order. I definitely want to do that. So let's start by reading the summary. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a trigger warning on this because this does involve children. I knew when I first read like the first couple of chapters, I knew this could be a hard book for me to read. It wasn't as hard to read as I thought it was going to be. Thank goodness. But just putting it out there. Okay, there's talk of pregnancy loss and other things involving children. So, in Ava's dreams, her son, Noah, looks just the way she remembers him. A sweet 2-year-old in rolled-up jeans and a red sweatshirt. When Ava wakes, the agonizing truth hits her all over again. Noah went missing 2 years ago, and his body has never been found. Almost everyone, including Ava's semi-estranged husband, Wyatt, assumes the boy drowned after falling off the dock near their Church Island home. So where they live is like an island. There's like a main city, right, on the mainland, and then they have like this island. And it's not just them, like there's a whole little community on the island, but they have to take boats from the island to the mainland to get to any like larger supplies that they don't already have on the island. Just to clear that up. So they are kind of isolated on the island. So they live right where, like, there's a boat dock right down from their house. It's kind of plausible, but that might have happened. Ava has spent most of the past 2 years in and out of Seattle mental institutions, shattered by grief and unable to recall the details of Noah's disappearance. Now she's back at Neptune's Gate, the family estate she once intended to restore to its former grandeur. Slowly, her strength is returning. But as Ava's mind comes back into focus, her suspicions grow. Despite their apparent concern, Ava can't shake the feeling that her family, and her psychologist, know more than they're saying. But are they really worried for her well-being, or anxious about what she might discover? Unwilling to trust those around her, Ava secretly visits a hypnotist to try and restore her memories. But the strange visions and night terrors keep getting worse. Ava is sure she's heard Noah crying in the nursery, in their home, and glimpsed him walking near the dock. Is she losing her mind, or is Noah still alive? Ava won't stop until she gets answers, but the truth is more dangerous than she can imagine, and the price may be more than she ever thought to pay. So, this is a story all about this is a story about a woman who she had multiple miscarriages, finally was pregnant, believes that she finally gave birth to this child. She acknowledged him as her son. And I don't want to give too much away if you want to read this book. The book was okay. It wasn't my favorite Lisa Jackson book. This book was aggravating. It was aggravating. I had to fight myself from throwing the book across the room at times because her husband is always like, she's like, oh, I heard him crying. And her husband's like, I'm sure you did, honey. I'm sure you did. Now go take your meds. Why don't you go take a nap? And she's seeing this psychologist who she thinks is having an affair with her husband, who keeps telling her she needs to take her pills. She doesn't take her pills. She puts her pills in the toilet and flushes them. And that's actually what helps her memory start to come back. So they tell her that the pills will help her figure things out, and actually it doesn't. The reverse is true. The absence of pills actually helps her more. But her husband, everybody in the household is worried about her because they think that she's losing it after the disappearance of her son. They all believe that her son is dead. They all, she keeps saying that he's still alive, and her husband and her best friend and her psychologist, they all coddle her. Oh, it's okay. Things are hard to deal with. And I mean, they talk down to her so bad. And I'm sitting here like, Wyatt, listen. It got so bad that I started talking to Jason, my husband. I told him how bad this was. And even my husband was like, you guys, up until the very, very end, I will say, like, there's obviously murders begin happening, and it's people close to Ava, right? People who could help her figure out the truth start being murdered, and it's not clear who the murderer is until like the very, very, like the last 2 chapters. Everything gets revealed, and everything comes out, what had happened with her son, and who was involved, and what they knew and what they hid from her. And it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific that a family would do this to a family member. Would gaslight them so bad and make them feel, you know, it was to the point where they were making her feel like she was so convinced that she was going to find her son. They even started maybe telling her that maybe she lost it, you know, maybe she did something to her son, you know, like, once your memories come back, you can tell us what happened to him, you can tell us where Noah went, what happened to Noah. And it's just like, as a mother, first off, if your husband's talking to you that way, he's an idiot, okay? And you need to get a new husband. You got to throw the whole husband out and get a new husband, okay? Secondly, if your psychologist is talking to you that way, you got to throw the whole psychologist out and get a whole new one, okay? That you should not tolerate disrespect like that. Your feelings are valid. It doesn't matter whether you're right or whether you're wrong, whether you did do something to hurt your child, which she didn't, by the way. I'm just going to throw that in there. She had nothing to do with it. You don't deserve to be talked down to like that, right? And if those people, like, if somebody hurt their child and you knew that they hurt their child, but they just can't remember that, I wouldn't coddle them, you know, and just talk down to them and be condescending, not coddling, but I wouldn't talk to them that way. I would explain to them, this is the evidence we have, so we know that you were involved somehow. We can't fill in the rest of the pieces, so we need you to work on your memory so that you can tell us and know exactly what happened. You don't pretend like, oh, he disappeared, he's gone, he's whatever, and like, it's okay. There's a couple people in her family, and I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to put a lot of spoilers on here. I don't have to put a spoiler alert on here. This book was very frustrating to read. It's definitely not my favorite Lisa Jackson book. I think it was pretty well written. I mean, you know, she's a great author. I love reading her books. And it's not necessarily the way that she wrote it. It's more like the content that she wrote and the character she created. Also, the ending, the very, very last page, is extremely cheesy and cheeky. And I felt like, really, all that for this? All of that? This whole book, we've been reading about, you know, the hero and the heroine and how they're going to get to all this whole book. We've been reading about that, and this is how it happens. And this is like, I was listen, I love a good romance, and that ain't it. Okay. I'm going to give this book a 3 out of 5. Listen, if you've suffered from miscarriages or pregnancy loss, if you have lost a child, whether the child unalived themselves, whether the child was in an accident and passed away, whether the child had a disease and passed away naturally, or whatever, you know, or your child just disappeared and you didn't see them again, I feel like this book could be extremely triggering to you. I have had a miscarriage previously, and it wasn't super triggering. Like, that part wasn't super triggering, but like, as a parent, it's always triggered me when they put kids in peril, and when it's the kid would disappeared and you don't know what happened to the kid. That's horrific to me. Like Cujo by Stephen King, still, every time I watch that movie, I haven't read the book, every time I watch that movie, I'm still cringing. I'm like, maybe they'll get out, right? Like, maybe they'll make it out of this car. And listen, it took me a long time before I could get through that movie. So just be warned, this book is not going to be for everybody. I feel like this is one of her earlier writings, but I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite, to be honest with you. It's not fully the content. It's just the storyline. I felt like sometimes it was a little cheesy. Sometimes it was a little like played on stereotypes, and I don't know. It's not really my thing. I've read her other books, and her other books have been vastly superior in my opinion, so that's why I'm giving it such a low rating, but it's still a good book, okay? Lisa Jackson wrote it. She's amazing. We know that. But let me know if you have read this book, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Let me know all of the things down in the comments below. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content's going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank you so much for watching. I love y'all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!